Hey, what's going on? What's going on, CoinOpTV subscribers? Robert Welkner here with another CoinOpTV live and interactive on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. Today we got a special review of a video game called Planet Coaster. Today is none other than MrDadGamer, one of CoinOpTV's writers and video producers. Good to see you, sir.
How's it going today?
It's going well.
Tonight, I guess.
Yes, we're filming this at night. My lighting's a little different. Usually I use the sunlight. At night I use the house light over here, so I've got a kind of a mixture of the monitor reflecting in my face with sort of this light bulb over here. But things are going well. How are you, sir?
Doing good. So you had a busy day today, it looks like, with a couple other streams I saw.
Yes, we're covering all the bases this week. Skylanders, Lego, reviewing games, talking to people in chat. If you guys are watching this live, leave us a question, concern. If you guys are watching us on the archive, make sure you leave a comment and say what's up and let us know what you think of Planet Coaster. So let me give you the quick spiel here. I'll put a graphic up there. Planet Coaster, in my own words, is a theme park simulator. Here's the blurb from the press release. Planet Coaster makes a creator out of everyone. Lay paths, build scenery, customize rides, and make your park unique with powerful piece-by-piece construction. Sculpt the landscape to raise mountains, form lakes, dig caverns, and even build islands in the sky. Then weave So that's a little bit of a blurb there. So basically, I mean, MrDadGamer, is it safe to say
I think it tends more towards a landscape for creative artists. In creating the park, there is a significant amount of park management, but I think a lot of the focus also is just that creativity and either recreating Disney World, which I'm sure people are working on, or another theme park, or just coming up with something in your own creation and just working with that and just the aesthetics. The graphics are just awesome in here. Unfortunately, as a side note, with the graphics being awesome, so are the system resources requirements. It's a resource hog. So if you've got a powerful machine, you should be fine. If you've got a lower end machine, I may need to tone down the graphics a little bit, but overall it's still just a beautiful game. Okay,
yeah, fair enough. That's the tricky thing about being a PC gamer. Part of the PC elite is the resources and how crazy your speed is, memory, and your motherboard and all that here. So let's talk about the modes first. I got some video here that MrDadGamer helped capture. So kind of give us a little bit of a heads up on the modes.
Okay, there's 3 different modes: is career, sandbox, and challenges. And with the career and the career and the challenges, there's a easy, medium, and hard level. For example, for the career, the easy is add 4 rides. So either they can be flat rides or pre-made custom blueprints for coasters, or you can create your own. The next one for medium would be get X amount of money in by the end of the year 1, and the hard one may be have an average, have 1,100 guests or something like that, some sort of limit to the number of guests to get, or something along those lines, some criteria you have to meet. Same with the challenges. The challenges are a little bit different, though, in that you do they'll give you a set amount of money. So for the easy challenge, you may be given $8,500 to start with, and your guests are very willing to put up with stuff. I mean, they're easygoing. Get to the medium level, you may get $6,000, and your guests are a little picky. The hard level, you may get $5,000, and rides may be breaking down all the time. Guests are very apathetic about your park at that point, and you get people leaving. So it kind of gives you different options as far as how much work you want to put into it. And then obviously Sandbox is self-explanatory. You can do everything. One other thing with the challenge and the career, not everything is unlocked. You have to research different types of coasters, and as you get those, obviously you have them available to use. Sandbox, no money issues. Everything's unlocked. You're good to go. Just have to use your imagination to come up with something.
So so MrDadGamer's working on the review for this. How many hours do you think you've logged so far? You put into this?
It's a time suck. I think when I first downloaded it, next thing I knew, I was like 3.5 hours into it, and it felt like about 30 minutes, and I had like nothing done, just because the intricacies of creating your own shops, creating your coasters, and then adding scenery, all that, it's just very time intensive. So I mean, I saw one guy who, the game had been out 45 hours, and he said he posted he had put in 32. So it just sucks you in. But at the same time, if you enjoy that and you've got the time, then it definitely is definitely enjoyable. That's for sure.
Now, I used to play some of The Sims back in the day. If you're a Sims person for The Sims, is this something you can kind of jump into and feel right at home at all?
Not. I mean, you'd feel more comfortable if you were a roller coaster tycoon person. The Frontier Developments, they actually do the Elite Dangerous space simulator, but they also worked on Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and some of the Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 expansions. So they carried a lot of that over to this. As far as the Sims go, there's not an aspect of like creating the Sims. You get to create an avatar at the beginning, but you really don't use the avatar after that. But with the Sims or guests being in the theme park, you can name the guest, you can click on the guest, and you can see what their feelings are. If they're liking their ride, the park's boring, they're ready to go home. Also, one thing I thought was kind of cool, which don't remember, it's been so long since I played Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. They have demographics for the kids, teenagers, and adults, and we'll get to the park management later. And you can actually see your demographics, and do the teenagers like these rides? Do the adults like these? Is everything too intense for everybody? So there's a little bit of customization as far as in the Sim family sense, but you're going to be more familiar with it if you're a Roller Coaster Tycoon fan.
Okay. Now, we're talking about The Sims and stuff like that. We got a few people jumping in. Shout here, Saul and Josh. Shout outs to you guys. So we're talking about Planet Coaster here, a PC game that's just came out. Little review in progress. So we were talking about some of those other games, The Sims. Let me ask you this, MrDadGamer. In The Sims, one of the challenging or fun things is to try and kill your Sims. Can you kill people in Planet Coaster? Can you throw somebody on some death-defying roller coaster that shoots off into space and destroys their lives at all?
You can. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the death aspect, but and they even Frontier actually, one of their trailers they came out with did exactly that. They had a roller coaster that stopped on a path, and you just see bodies flying. I think everyone just got back up after that, but yeah. So you can. There's no death aspect, but you can create those coasters, and then when you test them, you just don't complete them. So as they go through and test them, it'll just launch right into. I had one I created the other day, and again, these are crash test dummies when you test it. But I did a roller coaster into a ravine and stopped it and watched the whole thing just fly down into the ravine out of sight. So you can do that. The other thing with that is not so much the death part, but I did do a coaster one time, and it was too intense because you've got fear, nausea, and excitement. 3 different settings for components for the success of a coaster, and they're roughly, I'd say, 1 to 10, for 1 being mild, 10 being extreme. And I had one that during the testing, I think I was 14, 12, and 11 on the scale. So basically, you wouldn't be able to ride that as a normal person.
Interesting. Let's see. FC203 jumped in chat. All right, so let's talk about some of the customization and stuff like that. Let me switch over to one of your customization videos here. So it looks like you kind of decide on if you want to be tropical, desert, some of the different landscapes there. What's like an advantage or a disadvantage in choosing the landscape to build your park?
I don't know if there really is an advantage or disadvantage other than the native, like a deciduous would have more trees, desert more open, grasslands, you think of prairies, you've got your few trees. But with the customization, you can turn the desert into a deciduous park. So there's not. I mean, there's a base set where you can start out with, but the terrain customization is just insane. I mean, you can, like I say, you can create tunnels, you can create ponds. They actually they have one glitch that I haven't seen if they fixed it yet, where you have water, but then there was something about the code where the water actually created a second level, so you could actually create a pathway underwater, and you look up and there's water above you, even though it's not a tunnel or anything like that. It was kind of a unintended benefit to that game, I guess. I don't know, whatever polite way of saying bug.
So maybe you can make like a roller coaster that turns into like a little water park ride, you know, a combination from that.
Yeah, or you can actually have the water park ride, because that's one thing that the community was really looking forward to and really wanting is water rides. And there's both a river rapids, the big round raft, as well as log flume options as well. But going back to your original question about the coaster customization,
Yeah.
that aside from, you know, you've got they call them blueprints, where you can actually have a pre-made coaster, and they come with probably 10, 15 different ones, depending on the type. Also, the Steam Workshop. The game came out on the 17th, and I looked earlier, I think it was earlier today or late yesterday, and there were 23,000 entries in the Steam Workshop for anything from bathroom stalls to wood coasters to entire parks.
So is can I ask you, MrDadGamer, with the Steam Workshop, is that something people can create and upload and share on Steam with their creations?
Right. So I'll jump back to that here in a second here. So with the blueprint, they're called blueprints. So you've got those pre-made ones that come with the game. But then you can also take any coaster yourself and modify it. Take a building and just you can take what they have, like a basic food stall, and then you can build a whole building around that. And then what you can do is you can actually save that as a blueprint yourself and upload it to the Steam Workshop for someone else to download.
Okay, I'm showing.
And so what you end up doing is you subscribe to that person. So I think sent you a video where you actually imported. I went in, subscribed to a person's workshop, and then if I go under the blueprints, their creations are there listed for me to just drag onto the park.
Okay, yeah, I'm showing some gameplay of the Steam Workshop here. It looks like you're kind of scoping out the competition. Can you like upvote people and like give them stars and ratings and stuff?
Yeah, about ratings, but yeah, I mean, you can subscribe and your typical workshop, options for letting people know that work's appreciated, and it's insane, the community that's out there. But I'll get to that here in a minute. But customization, I mean, the coasters are one aspect. As I mentioned, you've got your buildings, you've got drink shops, ATMs, info booths, and everything. And then that's not even including the paths. Then you can create paths. You can have paths that have a curved, curved staircase. You can have railings. You can have no railings. You can override if a particular coaster blueprint has a particular path, queue line, texture that you want to change. You can go in there and change that to another one. It's hard to really describe the customization just because it's pretty much unlimited. It's whatever you can come up with. The controls at times are a little wonky. I will admit that. And again, that's not taking into account the resources. I was running it on a AMD FX 8320 with 16 gigs of RAM and a 4 gig GTX 960 card, and there were definitely some times where it was a little bit sluggish. But it's not anything that can't be managed with turning down the graphics a little bit, or if you've even got, I know my machine is definitely not near the most powerful out there, so if you've got a more powerful machine, you really shouldn't have much problems with that.
All right, we're over on your Terran editing here as well. Looks like a lot of a lot of options as far as colors and tweaking and stuff like that. What's some of your influences? Are you a Disney park person? You go to Magic Mountain? Any of those? Where are you getting your creative juices from?
Honestly, as I mentioned before, some of the community is great, and there's some, I mean, I don't know, lack of a better term, Picassos for this game that come up with creations that are just insanely beautiful. And so I try to look at some of those and maybe try to get a smaller version. I've been to Magic Mountain, been to Disneyland, Disney World, all those, and so I have thought about trying to recreate some of them, like Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain. I know a lot of people are doing dark rides. They'll create the coaster, then put a whole building around it, and then insert a bunch of lights everywhere that are completely customizable. But I don't really have a particular set right now. I'm just trying to whatever inspires me at the moment. For coming up with something.
Yeah, yes. I don't know where I would begin. My creative juices are very limited, so I'd probably be copying something from Disney, the big giant castle. Start from there.
That's where the Steam Workshop comes in. I mean, I've even seen articles where just because you don't have, because they've got a big group on Reddit, and that's where I look at daily probably. And there's people who are like, if you don't have creativity, don't worry about it. Take a look at the workshop and just find stuff there you like and put it in your park.
We got a comment in chat here. Nick says this doesn't work. The game is a waste of money. I'm not quite sure. Maybe Nick, maybe you can be a little more descriptive. Is it not working on your PC? Can you not run it or something? And Toy Movie Game Bros is in chat. Marcus, we got another comment. Imagination a waste of money, or should I try it out? Oh, he's talking about Imaginators. Sorry, he had a little typo there. Yes, Skylanders Imaginators is a fun game. You should check it out. And also, it sounds like Planet Coaster is a fun game as well. I'm showing some of these. I know we're kind of jumping around here.
Well, jumping on the Skylander thing, not so much directly to Skylander, but again, I told you the customization is pretty much unlimited. Well, they give you basic shape objects, circle, cylinder, things like that. And one thing with these objects, and not even just that, but the beams, everything, you can kind of merge them into each other so it looks like one big, long, seamless, even though it may be two. And where I'm going with this is someone actually was like, I can't help myself. And he recreated, not Skylander, but he recreated probably 6 or 7 Mario characters using those tools. And so his park just has like the Ghost, it has Luigi. So
that's funny.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point someone did something like that with the Skylander character using those tools.
Yeah, one of my buddies, Portal Power TV, he's been going into the Skylanders Imaginators and creating Marvel characters like Iron Man and Deadpool and stuff. So it's interesting to see when you put those tools out there, what people do with them. So we're looking at some of your park management footage here. So how are things with like the daytime and nighttime? Do things change? Can you do fireworks at night, or is there like a gradual like 24-hour clock sort of running with the theme park?
There's an accelerated clock, yeah. And you could also pause at any time. You can also set the time of day which I've done several times. Don't think I have any videos of that, but I just set the time to the daytime just because I'll be in the middle of designing something and then it turns night, and obviously it's a little bit harder to see. So yeah, it was a complete day-night cycle with that. Again, you can set it to the time.
All right. We got, let's see.
Right, let me jump back here for a second. So your question is just about the management?
Yeah, sure.
Just having a brain lapse there. Old age, I guess. Anyway, the park management, aside from the day-night cycle, obviously, as the time goes, I don't know if you put up the video yet without the park management as far as the overall average month. You can see your staff, your guests, your attractions, your monthly profits, monthly customers, the breakdowns, that are in the park, the guest overall thoughts. As I mentioned before, you can actually click on each individual guest and get their thought at that moment. One thing I didn't mention, that going back to kind of the graphic / management, is that there's a first-person camera. So on your coasters, you can actually put yourself from a first-person perspective on the coaster, see what it looks like. Same thing with the guest. So, you can click on your guest walking along a path, click on the first-person view, and see what they're seeing at that point. Also, as I mentioned, seeing what their thoughts are. There's also entertainers that you can add to the park, and that helps live up to their name. Entertain the guests, keep them occupied. There's the big Planet Coaster mascot. They've got a pirate, princess, several different, I think it's a total of 7 or 8 different entertainers that can be dropped on there anytime to interact with the guests.
Let me ask you this: Can you are you allowed to bring selfie sticks in your theme parks? I know Disney has Disney Parks has banned selfie sticks. If I go into MrDadGamer's theme parks, will I be able to carry around my selfie stick?
Yeah, just make sure you don't do it near a coaster that's not finished, because I may take off a couple tracks and have it land. No, there's no. I don't think I've seen that aspect in the game itself, but no, I'm not big on that. But to each their own. If they want that too. But yeah, and, going back to just some of the overall things. I was trying to look through some of my notes. Some of the things I haven't even mentioned. Trying to look here. Just the different types of rides that they have. I mean, I mentioned coasters, but they also have flat rides, such as like a carousel, teacups. They have monorail. You can set a monorail. They have a steam engine like Disneyland. You can have that. And actually, you mentioned I have seen the Disneyland entrance by at least 1 or 2 people on the Steam Workshop.
Cool.
So it's hard to really describe the scope of the game, just because they're using the Disney infinite possibilities. There's it's not Toys of Life, obviously, but there's infinite possibilities of what's going to be for you. I've seen people that make sci-fi, and sci-fi seems to be big. I've seen a lot of workshop items where people will do a sci-fi coaster or like apocalyptic type scenery in there. And I mean, and I think they limited the number of pieces, and if you think about how much time this would take, as I mentioned, you can create an object, a building, whatever, and then save it as a blueprint. There's a 2,000 piece limit. So just think about how much time that is involved putting in 2,000 pieces onto a building.
Wow. That's it makes me think of like when you make Lego stuff, how many pieces are in like a big giant Lego set or something. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that may be kind of capped for now, just because, like I say, that's graphic intensive. And so if you get, a park with 4 or 5 of those buildings in there, you're already worrying about resources on your machine.
So all right, so let's wrap it up here. Planet Coaster came out a few days ago on PC. Sounds like if you don't have a heavy duty PC, you might have to sort of tone down some of the graphics just to get it sort of run. Definitely check the website on that. What's your sort of outcome with this? I know your review is still sort of in progress. Is this for everybody? Is this a niche game? Is this a stocking stuffer?
Don't know about stocking stuffer. It is $44.99 on Steam. So that's unless you've got rich relatives. None of my family members have stocking stuffers that are $45. So, but it is kind of a niche game. I mean, if you're a big fan of Roller Coaster Tycoon, Parkitect is another one that's out there. That's not it's, and then Roller Coaster Tycoon World are the 3 big ones that are out there now. So if you're a fan of any of those type of games, then yeah, Planet Coaster definitely would be for you. A couple of things. I want to mention. I mentioned before that everyone is really, there's so many creative people out there. So just checking YouTube, looking at people. One of the main guys, Silver, I think his name is. He's actually worked with Frontier, gone to their studio, helped them come up with stuff. He just started a tutorial series on doing different things like building wooden roller coasters, how to make them look realistic, and all those things. Also, the community is great, as I mentioned, but Frontier has been awesome as well. I mean, there's been so many things that have been suggested by the community that they have implemented or is coming up. In fact, actually, as to mention, the game came out on the 17th, and they've already announced a free holiday update that's coming up, and they have 4 new rides ready to go, and they're asking the community which one do you want to be included with that holiday update.
All right. What do you want to see? Some zoo animals or something for a holiday update?
There's been a lot of speculation about where they go from here. What kind of DLC, and I would love to see some sort of Zoo Tycoon type thing. Yes, that would be awesome. Or even just expand more water park. Just regular straight water park tubes. All that, wave pools, things like that. That would be awesome down the road.
We're gonna send this video to Santa Claus as part of your wish list. So Santa, if you're listening, MrDadGamer wants to get some animals and some water park elements in there. So
that would be great.
So awesome. Well, hey, thanks a bunch. I know there's a few people in chat there. Nick Wolfgang Rocks is saying, no one answered my question. I'm not quite sure what he's talking about. He says he needs a 3D adapter. I'm not quite sure if he's still talking about Planet Coaster or not. And Toy Movie Game Bro says, yes, the selfie stick. Long live the selfie stick at theme parks. So if you go to MrDadGamer's theme park, selfie sticks are allowed. Make sure you check out MrDadGamer on his Twitter account there, twitter.com/MrDadGamer. And also, we'll have the full review coming up on the CoinOpTV website. So this is just kind of a review in progress. Thanks a bunch. Have a good Thanksgiving break there to you. And thanks a bunch for giving us the heads up on Planet Coaster.
You're welcome, and have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right, we'll see all you CoinOpTV subscribers tomorrow. Actually, we're going to do a LEGO Dimensions live stream at 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time with Disney Dan talking about the Black Friday LEGO Dimension deals. So make sure you tune in for that. That's it for this episode of CoinOpTV. We'll see you guys next time.